Hi, welcome to Human Tech, a podcast about the intersection between humans and technology. My name is Guthrie, and I'm joined by Susan.
Hello.
Hello, Susan. And a couple previous announcements. One, you should go back and listen to all the old episodes if you haven't done so. If you joined us late, this is, I think, our 18th episode now, ballpark. We have a numbering system for the episodes that doesn't actually line up to the order they were released, so it can be a little complicated. But I think it's 18. So you should go back and listen to all of them. There's no real reason not to. A lot of them don't have to do with current events. So
they're timeless.
They're
right?
Yeah. Timeless.
That's a different way. Instead of saying old, you say timeless.
Timeless, yes, without age.
Yes.
The other thing is that if you have any questions, you should email them to info@theteamw.com. To those who may have submitted a request for podcast topics, it's on our list. How deep is our list these days?
We have a big list, but they're not necessarily in order. So yeah, absolutely. And we have
how big's our list?
I don't know. You want me to go look? I mean, we probably have 20 things on the list.
So we got more ideas than.
Oh yeah. But I love the ideas that we're getting from our listeners. So yeah, if you have an idea of either what you think we should talk about or what you want to learn about, absolutely send us a note. We love that.
And if you think that someone else would be marginally entertained by listening to this show, that you should share it with them. Just tell them to go to any of their podcast app and just search for Human Tech, and it'll all work out.
And if you like the podcast, please rate it, like on iTunes or wherever, because the rating actually really helps.
Okay.
All
so
right.
And that's I think that's all the business we have.
Okay.
No guest today.
No.
Just too bad.
You and I'm not enough for you. I'm not good enough.
Well, compared to our last podcast.
Yeah, our last podcast, for those of you who didn't listen to the last one, definitely go check it out. It's with Natalie Nahai, and we talked about the ethics of persuasive techniques, especially online persuasive techniques. And that was really fun. I don't know if it was fun. It was like, pretty serious in there. It's good though. Natalie's great.
Yeah, I think I'd like to do more guests. The only reason that we don't have a guest on every show is it's just hard to get everyone to be, the same place at the same time.
Really? I thought it was because we like talking to each other.
I mean, that's obviously true.
Yeah, but we are open. If you have guest ideas,
no,
if you have ideas of guests that of other people that you think it would be interesting to hear the three of us talk together, please send us that too.
Yeah, it's really just because Susan and I work together all the time, so when we're in the mood to do a podcast, we're like, let's it's about that time to lay one down. So
to schedule a third person, it does add to the complexity of the schedule for sure. Yeah.
But I love guests on this show.
Yeah, well, we'll have to do some more. I'm sure I'll look at my list, and you can give me your list, and we'll get ideas from people. So actually, Natalie, when we had her on and then we went off air, we were talking to her, and something she said was the impetus for our topic this week. Because do you remember what she said when we were about to hang up with her?
No.
She said, well, I'm off now on holiday. She's British. She has that wonderful British accent. I'm off on holiday for the month of August. And you and I both kind of did a big sigh because, Americans, which you and I are both Americans, tend not to take a month of vacation.
Yeah, but okay, that's whatever.
So it got me thinking about vacation.
Well, okay.
and I wanted to talk about some interesting psychology around vacations. And I was just recently on vacation, and you're about to go on vacation.
Yeah, going to California.
So I just figured it was a timely topic to talk about vacations.
Yeah, indeed.
So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like going on vacation?
Yes, I do. But I guess in my head, it's a little different just because of my work schedule. I work at strange times.
Because you have flexible work schedule?
Yeah. So again, as I tell people, it's a blessing and a curse because on one hand, right, if I want to take a day off, I can take a day off, which is a luxury for most people. On the other hand, Saturday at 10 p.m. I'll be doing, I'm working, right? So, so it's both sides of the coin. I personally just prefer to have the flexibility. Because a lot of the work that we do can be done remotely. I mean, I'm sure on the California trip, I'll be on vacation, but I'll be working. I'll be checking.
See, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing.
But wouldn't it be better if you could have the flexibility and there would be like at least a whole week? I mean, it'd be good if it were a whole month, but at least a whole week where you didn't check email and you didn't check in. Wouldn't that be better?
No. I like being connected.
Connected to work?
Yeah, or just, I don't like feeling out of the loop.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. So, you and I are always talking about generational things. Do you think that's a generational thing or not?
Yes.
Do you think it's a cultural thing, like American versus European?
Yes.
Meaning that you think young people want to be connected to work more than older people?
So this is, it's a little complicated. I mean, again, I have a strange work schedule. I can't, I can't
you're
speak.
Not typical.
I'm not typical. I think that, I'll put it to you this way, okay? I think people my age would much rather get their work done at home and take care of emails kind of while they're not doing anything in spare moments than have to work an extra hour at the office to do the same thing. Right? So
that flexibility is really prized.
Yes. And so I think it's one thing for people who go on vacation who they're working all the time during the week, but then on weekends they have to they got their phone out and they're checking stuff and they're constantly staying up on the latest production schedules or whatever, and then they go on vacation. But there's always how vacations go. There's always a complete crisis when you go on vacation and people are trying to get a hold of them, right? And so right, I think that's one thing. And then so you can just be like, I'm taking a vacation, right? I'm not going to be available. I don't care what's on fire, right? I'm not around.
There's some countries that, and America is not one of them, that are now going to make it illegal for a company to have people check their work email when they're not at work.
Yeah, I mean, there's also that was the other thing I want to bring up, especially about America. I mean, there's a lot of cultural factors that are at play. I mean, the United States actually used to have a very, very strong labor movement. One of the strongest in the world, actually, in the early 1900s. Yeah. 1920s, up until basically the Great Depression, a little bit before. So there was a stretch of 20, 30 years where the United States passed a lot of very significant legislation about labor policy. Obviously, stuff that we just kind of take for granted, but minimum wages, that's a crazy concept. The work age limits, child labor laws,
and hour limits,
and hour limits, very, very, very big time. That's the biggest. That's something no one ever talks about, and it really kind of boggles my mind. So we have that and antitrust laws, and I'll get to those in a second. But right, so we have these laws that say if you work more than a certain number of hours a week, your boss by law has to give you more money. Yeah. Like that's a law that at some point was popular enough to get pushed on the federal ticket. Can you imagine, Bernie Sanders comes out with a policy today that says if you work more than 40 hours a week, your boss is required to pay you overtime? I think
no, but that just got passed.
Would be socialism.
No,
just people just go passed. Crazy. I know. That's the funny. That's.
Oh, you mean if
that's the irony.
Bernie had suggested it would be socialism, but
yeah, but we actually live in a socialist country where that happens. We have antitrust statutes, which is another crazy thought that basically, if any company gets too big, the federal government can come in and regulate that business and tear that business apart and take property from people. I mean, it's a very draconian, very just crazy law to protect workers and to prohibit monopoly. I guess protect consumers as well. But so the United States actually has a very strong labor law history. But then after World War II,
it
kind of started to erode, and then especially in the 80s under Reagan, a lot of that was, at least I don't know, maybe it wasn't, progress wasn't rolled back, but it certainly has maintained the status quo for a couple decades. Whereas in places like Europe, the labor movement continued as they were a lot closer to the USSR. And so the kind of socialist, because it was communist, and then, well, we're not communist, but we're kind of socialist, and you're not socialist, but you're next to a socialist country, and look at Finland, and well, they were part of. Anyways, that's not the best example, but on the flip side, Americans are more productive per hour.
Yeah, we could have a whole discussion about what that means, but I have another question for you.
Yeah.
So I gathered some little fun research facts about vacations that I thought I'd ask you some of these.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you ready?
Go for it. I like these games.
You like these little
Love
quizzes?
These games. Oh yeah.
All right. So do people
like trivia.
Which do people value more? Purchasing things or having experiences?
Experiences.
You are correct.
I know. I've actually read that research.
Oh, okay.
It's really good research.
It is really good research.
Yeah. And so if you have some spare money, have an experience.
Spend it on an experience, which of course then I think relates to vacations, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever done this. I've possibly done this, but I tend not to. But I'm sure at some point in my life I've done this. So you have a little bit of extra money, right? And you're trying to decide, do we go on vacation or do we buy the, canoe or something?
Well, right? Okay. Finish your thought, but I have differing opinions on this.
Well, you're better off spending the money on the experience. At least now and then.
Yeah, no, you're completely correct. The only thing I'd say is goods cost money. Experiences can be free or very cheap.
Well, they can also cost a lot of money.
They also can cost a lot of money, but I guess for me, I would do both. I would put that money in a rainy day or pay off some debt.
And then you'd try and have an experience that didn't cost much.
Yeah, I'd go on a road trip and go see some friends, drive across the country or do something. So instead
of like going on a
sleep on a couch. Europe. Yeah, or I just stay at home and I go explore. I'm in Chicago. I go explore a place in the city I've never been before, or check out something really cool.
Have you ever done that? Had a staycation?
I mean, I don't. It's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just part of the city. It's not like you call it that. But that's just.
I have found though, if I'm at home, okay,
kind of like every week.
Because I've done this frequently, where it's like, okay, I'm going to take either a couple of days or a week. I've never done more than a week.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on vacation, but I'm not going to, I'll go places that.
You'll check an email or two.
Well, I find that it's very hard to feel like it's a vacation because I feel like, I should wash the kitchen floor and and the mail came and I should pay some bills, and so I find that, when you go, and it's not even so much, okay, because, I want to be in a hotel where someone's going to come and make the bed. I mean, even when I've taken my vacation where, you rent an apartment or a house or something, right? Airbnb or something. If it's not my house or my apartment, yeah, I mean, I'll wash the dishes, I'll make the bed and straighten up, but it's different. But if I'm at home, I feel so to me, it's very hard to have a staycation because I always feel like, okay, I really should clean out the closet.
There's another thing at play. Okay, right. Which is, I mean, I live in Chicago, which is a giant, vibrant city. I have lived in my apartment maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
Right? So, and even then, I mean, I'm renting. It's not really my place. Like, who knows how long I'll stay here.
You don't feel the urge to wash the floors the way I do.
Yeah, well, I don't own it.
Well, yeah, but you can wash your floors even if you don't own it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I keep it clean, but there's not this sort of sense of, right, like
working on the homestead.
Yeah, like on the right, because like let's just say that I never clean, okay? Well,
right,
next year I'll just move, and then someone else will have to clean it. Okay. Right? So, right.
I'm not
whereas
coming to visit you
own your home, and so I feel like. And you've lived there quite a bit longer than I've lived here. Yeah. So there's, so there's maybe a certain...
Yeah, there's a certain...
It's still, this neighborhood is still new. There are restaurants, many restaurants and bars within 3 blocks of me that I have not patroned.
Yeah, so you can escape your apartment and be somewhere, even somewhere new, easily. And for me, that's not the case because I live in a little town in a house I've lived in for a long time. All right, I have another question for you.
Mm-hmm. But just as that's a very important point.
What?
If you'd like to achieve the most out of life, go have experiences.
Yes.
You'll feel more satisfied.
You will feel more satisfied. You'll be happier.
Statistically significant.
Yes, and related to that, and I hadn't even planned on bringing this point up, but related to that is the idea that when you go someplace that's very new, that looks different, like a country you've never been to, even a state you've never been to, as long as it looks different and there's different people and different accents and different clothing and they're doing different things. When you experience something new like that, it actually changes your brain. So how people say, oh, you should go travel, it'll expand your horizons and give you a new point of view. It actually does make neuron changes in your brain to have an experience of a place and people that are very different than you.
I very much would probably agree with that. I mean, the other thing is a lot of people I know, especially when they go on vacations, let's say you have the resources to go on a vacation overseas.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people go to Europe. I've always been a bit more of the adventurous type. So, again, I lived in Egypt. I went to China. So I feel, and it wasn't, I wasn't like staying in a nice hotel.
Right.
I was just living in a random apartment building. I was eating street food. I was,
yeah, you're much more adventurous.
Being amongst the people, as it were. And I feel like that's just a very different immersion experience, especially if you can go for, not a week, not 2 weeks, right. But if you can go for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, which again, most people don't have the luxury of doing. But I think that's when you really.
Yeah. Well, you're making new neuron connections.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm so weird.
Well,
blame it on my travels.
Weird before you went, but okay. All right, next.
Okay, yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
Which do people get more enjoyment out of?
I love these questions. This is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
Which do people get more enjoyment out of? A, planning a vacation, or B, going on the vacation?
Oh, it's definitely planning. If the experience of my friends is any indication, It's definitely planning.
It is. It is planning. Okay. And there's two reasons for this.
Can I guess them?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. The first is that there's like 1,000 different cliches that apply to this situation. It's basically like you have in your mind this idyllic whatever, and there's no place they can ever actually live up to what you were excited about. I'm gonna guess that's one. So your expectations have been improperly set.
Yes, I would phrase that a little different though in terms of what the research shows.
Yeah, sure. What's
So the research shows that we tend to overestimate our reactions to future events, both positive and negative.
Okay, sure, right. You're really worried about your upcoming dentist visit, and you go. It's like and it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and it
wasn't fun, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Or for vacation, you really, you just believe this is going to be the most amazing vacation, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have the most amazing time, and then it's not. I mean, it's good, but it's not quite that amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're right. Now so that was one reason. What's the other one? Because I said there were two.
Yeah. The logistics. This is a total spitball. I don't really. So far, I've been completely right on top of all these. But,
yeah, you gotta get one of these wrong.
This one's gonna be a little tougher for me. My guess is that the logistics of a vacation is actually quite difficult. Being on the right place at the right time, packing. People have a lot of creature comforts. You literally have to move from one place to another. It's not very easy. And so with that hassle, people are frustrated by logistics.
Yeah, but you said that the planning was. Oh, so you're saying the logistics?
No, the planning is fun, but the actual having to go through airports and carry luggage and check into hotels.
Actually, that wasn't.
Around.
That's probably true. Although that wasn't on my list. But I don't know about research on that. But I would say you're probably right.
Yeah.
But the research also shows that when you are doing that planning, you are anticipating, which means you're releasing dopamine, which means you're happy. Mm. It's because anticipation.
Should have seen that coming.
Anticipation is one of the most pleasurable experiences
I've seen those graphs.
Humans have.
You've
seen the graphs?
I've seen this research.
You know this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So this is called. We should call this episode the brain science of vacations.
It's not. Yeah. I mean, we can still call it that.
We might.
I literally just set whatever title I want after we're done recording.
I just was calling it vacations, but I think it is the brain science. So another thing we know is that people feel more related. This is related, but a little bit different. So people feel more positive about their vacation before they go on it, which is what we were just talking about, and then after, when it's all over, and the least positive about it while it's happening.
Yeah, and
that's back totally. To your logistics idea.
Well, people always. I mean, whenever you think of experiences, I mean, right? Think back to high school. And for most people, okay, yeah, we had some bad times, but if I tell you, think of your favorite high school moment, or your top 5, right? Who's your best friend in high school, right? And you're gonna trigger all these happy memories, and you kind of be like, oh yeah, times were good in high school, right? And in reality, when you were in high school, you listened to angry music and you hated everything and you hated your parents and everyone picked on you and it was just a giant disaster. As I'm sure anyone with kids who then observes that firestorm secondhand can attest.
Well, and I think I have on our list of podcast episodes topics to tackle is about human memory. Well, I really.
Yeah, I laugh because that's a good one.
Yeah, we'll do that one. But here's a little preview. I mean, we know that many of our memories, especially autobiographical memories like that, are recreated when we think of them. So the memories you are having, as you just implied, are actually not what really happened, but that's the memory we have. And
so why would we want to remember all the really sad times when we were standing in the lunch line and like Becky Haferman, who's not a real person, by the way, I'm just making up a name, right? Like made fun of your hair.
Yeah, I'm gonna call Becky and tell her you said this.
Like made fun of your hair because of it was like messy, right? And it kind of got on your nerves in third period, but then you kind of got over it. That you're not gonna. That's the kind of stuff that's not gonna stick around.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay.
All right. So here's another thing.
Yeah.
So do you know, like, people who go on vacations where it doesn't even sound like it's a vacation? Like they're going to climb Kilimanjaro, or they're going in the jungle in the Nile where it's likely that they're going to get bitten by.
The last Drew vacation I went on, I climbed a mountain, so I maybe not the right person to talk to. Though I also enjoy a book by the beach, but I definitely know people who, if you don't have like a machete in your hand, like
it's
rolling through the underbrush, like cutting down vines and like beheading like rabid snakes and fending off Zika mosquitoes, you're not having any fun.
Well, because one of the things that's also true is that the more difficult something is to achieve, the more people like it.
I loved climbing that mountain. That was terrifying, but it was so much fun. It was great. Yeah, absolutely. I think though that's certainly a spectrum, like when I say I climbed a mountain, it was a very tall mountain. The summit was, I don't know, it was about 10,000 feet up, so pretty significant. It took all day. The last kilometer had no trails. It was a scramble up the rough face at a very steep incline.
Yeah, this is like something I would not do. This is not on my list.
What I always say that makes it sound just way more badass is that the group behind us, the poor, it was a woman and a husband, and the woman had a panic attack and they had to chopper her out.
Yeah.
She was clinging to a rock and she wouldn't move and because it was so terrifying me.
And taken me.
Yeah, so like after we had like kind of passed them on the way back, but you can't really like stop and help, so because it's just very dangerous. Well, not very dangerous. It's moderately dangerous. And so then when we got down, we saw the chopper go, when we thought maybe it was just like a sightseeing chopper because they have those, but it seemed awfully on the mountain-ish. And then later when we got back down, we ran into the guy and he's like, yeah, they had to take her to a hospital. So that always makes it sound like it was pretty, it wasn't a leisurely stroll. But on the flip side, okay, it's there are people who will go, first of all, Kilimanjaro, right? I'm gonna go climb K2. I need a gas mask, and it took like 6 months of training, and it's like very intense. Or I'm gonna like live in the brush, I'm going with a Bowie knife and some rice, and we'll just see what happens.
I'm not doing either of those. No.
I like sitting by the beach with a book.
You do?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone on a vacation like that?
No. I mean, no. I should take that back. Like, the answer is yes and no. Like,
you went on vacations where there were times
there
when
were
you
beach
sitting.
days.
Yeah.
But then also days exploring the area
and hiking and all that.
I mean, sometimes not really hiking. Definitely. If there were people I knew there, it'd be more social. We'd like go out and have fun or grill or see the sights. But there were definitely beach days too. I don't think I've ever. The idea of going someplace, unless it was like Hawaii, that literally, even Hawaii, I know I would want to walk around and see all kinds of stuff. But I don't know, the idea of spending a bunch of money just to go sit on a beach seems counterintuitive. I do live in Chicago. We have beautiful beaches here. You can just sit on those beaches. So if I'm going to go somewhere,
you're not going to go sit at the beach.
I will do that for a day or two, but only as a part of the general, like, being in the area and experiencing all that, I don't know, Puget Sound has to offer, wherever I am. Yeah. Have you ever been to Puget Sound?
I have.
Oh, really?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That was probably a while ago, huh?
It's just a couple of years ago.
That sounds many years ago.
I think that whole area of the U.S. is just
Puget Sound.
Truly beautiful. Okay.
Completely unrelated, Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah, you should talk to me about the Oyster Wars. Chesapeake Bay. Very interesting history. Encourage everyone. I implore everyone to go read about the Oyster Wars that took place. People died. So.
Okay. I'll have to go check that out.
Oyster Wars.
I've been to Chesapeake Bay. All right. Next question. If your country, whatever country you live in, is going through a kind of, scary time period, whether that be why are you laughing?
Okay, yeah. Nope, no reason at all.
Okay. If your country that you live in is going through a scary time period, now maybe that's like there was a recession, or maybe it's because there's terrorism or whatever it is.
The direction of the country went in a way in which you did not.
You're not just in general. You're not feeling comfortable and confident.
Yeah.
You're feeling a little scared.
Yeah.
Are you more likely then to want to go on vacation to a place you've been to before and that's familiar, or are you more likely to want to go someplace new?
That is a really crazy question. There's research on this?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's research on everything.
There's not research on everything. Boy, that's so when in danger, do I seek out danger or do I seek out stability?
I guess you could put it that way. I mean, that's not the way the research is phrased. It's more about it has to do with being scared or sad versus not scared or sad. And which way do you want something new, and which way do you want something that's familiar?
So let me rephrase. So it also could be sad, right? So you just went through a divorce, or you had a loved one pass.
Yes.
Okay, I can relate to, because like when you're talking about like nation-ending political
you're right.
strife, I can't
well,
really
I was trying to think of something that makes everybody kind of scared, but yes, it could be a personal thing that happened to you and makes you sad. Yes.
Okay. Because I can definitely, I bet you our listeners out there can certainly relate. I bet you I'm gonna go with crazy.
So you think if you're sad or scared, you're gonna want to do something new.
You want to just escape, get away from it all, and drown your sorrows in new experience. Replace your worries and doubts with new experiences.
No.
Okay. Well. I think it's one or the other.
When you're sad or scared, you want what's familiar.
Okay.
When you're feeling, not sad, when you're confident, when you're happy, that's when you want to seek out new things, at least according to this research. But, I mean, what you said kind of makes sense, but I don't know that it's...
It might depend on the person, but maybe it's... I could see that too, right? If you're in college and you're scared and everything's unfamiliar and you're overwhelmed and right, you just want to go home, right? You're homesick.
Yeah. So I want to go back to when we were talking about before about being connected versus not being connected, because
you mean connected
Gaia,
Mother Earth?
No, I mean electronically connected. Have you ever been on vacation in a place where...
I haven't been on a lot of vacations.
where for whatever reason, you did not have cell phone internet access.
Yes.
And did the non-access change the quality of your experience? Okay, it's not that hard of a question.
It kind of is. I mean...
That was a long moment of silence.
I know. I was deep in thought.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Take your time.
I feel like it didn't change my experience. I feel like I would have had... It's both a good and a bad. I feel like there are certain benefits I get from being connected, but also I want to be connected as badly as possible. I will kick and scratch and climb to the top of mountains to get service. I will do whatever. I will hack telephones in order to get dial-up. Whatever it takes to get connected, I will do. I feel just that very strong urge to be able to say hi to the people in my life. Specifically, I don't need to like browse, Reddit or whatever, but to send text messages, for example, send pictures, receive pictures. On the flip side, when you're not connected, you will definitely have more of an experience because it's unfamiliar and you don't have the crutch of home to bring you back, right? So let's say you're on a vacation in an exotic place. While it is exotic and you're having all these crazy experiences, the fact that you are connected to home grounds you in some way, right? Mm-hmm. You're sending messages to your friends back home. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you've taken your life with you to this place.
Right.
And it's great because you can share that place with
right. You can share photos. People can comment on
you can Skype, video chat with people. Mm-hmm. You're kind of connected in real time.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any sort of connection, I mean, you're really out there. And I guess I would analogize it to going camping with a bunch of equipment is an experience. Going camping in the brush armed with just a Bowie knife and a bag of rice is that's something you'll remember forever. Mm-hmm. So it's different, on one hand, I want to stay connected, and I probably will always stay connected if given the option. But I could certainly, I think in the same way that I don't want to be on a vacation with just a Bowie knife in the jungle. But on the flip side, I think that vacation, where I'm forced to not be connected, would be more memorable to me.
Well, I want to talk about this for a minute because
that was tough.
Yeah, no, that was good. I understand what you're saying. I want to talk about. I've had a couple of fairly recent experiences with this. Certainly I'm old enough that I had experiences where I wasn't connected because there really wasn't connection didn't exist when I was much younger. But even recently, so let's see, and I want to kind of talk through this. So a couple of years ago, I went to an island, and I was staying at a house on the island. So this is not primitive, I'm not roughing it. I'm in a house. But the house had no phone. It had no cell phone service.
Surrounded by prison guards. Shark-infested waters.
No. There was no Wi-Fi. And there was no, cable television or anything like that. It was an island.
At least you could have dish.
The house itself was an island on an island, yeah. So, I could not communicate with anyone while I was at the house. I could have driven to the end of the island and maybe 15 minutes and used somebody's regular landline phone, maybe. I don't know, But like I had no phone there. So I was not connected, and I was there for a week. And I did say, it was interesting because I did do some electronic things. For instance, I decided it was time to really learn how to use the photo organizing software on my computer. And I sat down to do that, and it took me, like 4 hours. And what was interesting was I was very immersed in it because I couldn't get distracted, and I couldn't go look something up online. I was on my computer, but I wasn't online.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot because of that. And then there were just these other immersive experiences where I found myself spending longer periods of time doing one thing than I normally would. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas I might have normally done something for like 15 minutes or 2 minutes, I would spend like 4 hours doing one thing because I wasn't distracted.
I find, now that I'm thinking about it, I think my favorite experiences in life is when I'm disconnected. And it doesn't happen very often. So, for example, like being out on a nice meal, with someone, you're not going to, I purposely don't look at my phone just to not be
if
distracted.
It's a special meal, because sometimes you go out to eat with friends, you've got your phone there.
Oh, yeah, I'm just talking
but
about...
you're saying this is a special meal we're going out to, and so I'm putting my phone away.
Yeah. When I'm playing basketball, you just can't have a phone on you because it jingles around your pocket. Yeah. And so just being kind of in the moment of playing basketball is one of my favorite. Mm-hmm. Those are...
Well, and I this is and yet another podcast episode I have on the list is the research about how cell phones change relationships. So so I won't go into that.
Yeah,
but
I know
I'll just
all
say
that.
They do. Just having one present changes the relationship.
Yeah, so I can definitely see where at least the most intimate experiences I have without a cell phone around. And I do this, and I think I maybe unconsciously, but however, I do take advantage of this somewhat. So like if I'm gonna watch a movie I'm very excited about,
you'll turn your phone off or put
no,
it away.
I never turn my phone off, but I'll at least what am I, like a peasant?
Will you put it on Do Not Disturb?
No, I won't do that either.
You won't even do that?
No, but I'll maybe charge it on the other side of the room. Or at least it'll be like off in my pocket, or off sitting next to me. And if I get a text message, I'll glance at it briefully.
Interesting.
But I make well, it depends on how excited I am about the movie, I suppose. If I've been waiting 2 years to see this movie, then perhaps indeed I will put it on silent and put it out of the way. Normally it's I don't know. I like movies, but I don't get that excited about movies.
I've started with some events, either turning the phone off altogether or putting it on Do Not Disturb. And I have found since I've been doing that, I now purposely do that more and more often, even for things that are not a big deal. I'll just say, you know what? I don't want to, for this thing I'm about to do, I don't want any interruptions. And then I'll put it on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. So, because I really don't want any interruptions. Yeah, that's, I think you're right. All right, here's another experience because here's another thing that happens. I'm going back to this disconnected idea. Many years ago, this was actually several years ago, I put my phone down in an IKEA store. And that phone was never found again. Like, you've been to an IKEA store, haven't you?
Yes, there is an IKEA store in Chicago, in Schaumburg.
That's where I put my phone down.
Oh, it's the only one in the Midwest, so.
It's a labyrinth.
It's very large.
So if you happen to put your phone down somewhere, you try and retrace your steps.
Shout out to all of our Swedish friends.
You cannot find that phone. I mean, I did. I tried to retrace my steps, and I was panicked. Okay?
Yeah, I understand.
I was absolutely panicked that I didn't have my phone. And I had to go from there. I had to drive to someone's apartment, and I'd been to the apartment before a couple times. But I was convinced I would never find my way there without GPS.
What kind of phone was this?
iPhone.
Well, okay. Well, you have your thought, and then I'll have my thought.
So, I finally left without the phone, and I drove to the apartment, and I was able to find it without GPS or map, and without calling anyone, because I couldn't call anyone because I didn't have my phone. And then for the rest of the weekend, while I was visiting friends and family, I did not have a phone. And it was very interesting to me what happened when I didn't have a phone, because I found that I liked what I did more, because I had to make a decision like about where to meet someone or when to meet someone, and I couldn't change it because I didn't have a phone to call them to say, oh no, let's not meet there, let's meet over here, or oh no, not 1 o'clock, how about 2 o'clock? I couldn't change. Once I had to make these appointments, to visit with people and do things, and then I couldn't change it, and they couldn't either because they wouldn't be able to reach me. And because of that, I enjoyed my decisions better.
Yeah, I like that. You take away. You're just taking away options.
You're taking away options, and I
but
felt
humans like options.
More,
we know humans like more choice.
We know they like choice, but we
like
know that they don't do well with choice.
Yeah, they don't do well. You're such a classic human.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
So I kind of do this all the time.
What? Don't use your phone?
No, I use my phone all the time. But if I make a decision, I just stick to my decision. To people might call me stubborn.
Yeah.
But so for example, college classes.
Yeah.
In all my years, I've never dropped a college class.
We might have talked about this.
Yeah,
before.
4 years in college and 3 years in law school. I mean, I think I dropped one or two if I realized that the schedule conflicted or something, or
but not because you didn't like it.
Yeah. And I basically, if I agreed to sign up for something, I did it. I stuck through it. I did the whole thing. I was in it. I do this a lot, like with restaurants. Once I decide to go to a restaurant or order something, I'm gonna do it. So, I don't know, and I'm often very, very happy with the decisions I make, and maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think it does. So I have
You have any more research?
I don't have any more research, but I have some prescriptive ideas.
Okay, well, say your ideas, and then I have some questions for you about vacations.
Well, you go ahead and ask your questions.
Okay, first. Money was no object. You could vacation tomorrow. Where would you go?
Wow.
You get 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
And I don't want to say unlimited money, but let's call it.
Yeah, but I don't have to. I don't have to not
$20,000.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, not enough to be having hookers and blow and buying bottles of champagne or buying gold or anything. But enough to travel anywhere and have a place and see a bunch of stuff and eat well and all that kind of stuff. Is it just one thing, or can I do a couple things? Because 4 weeks is a long time. So you'd be a hopper. You can, but you can't do a whirlwind tour. You can. $20,000 won't let you, anyways.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I would
try and stay on the same continent.
Oh. On the same continent.
Yeah, if that's not possible, I mean, that's okay. I guess I'm just trying to figure, right, like, where would you go was the question. I mean, if you're saying you'd go multiple places, it's not the worst. But, like, if you were, like, gonna fly to, like, Russia and then fly to, like, Ethiopia and then, like, fly to Australia, but you couldn't afford all that. So you can't fly that much.
Okay, all right. I'm going to tell you what I would do. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
I think these are not quite the same continent.
It's okay.
I would go to Italy to go to a 1 week workshop on singing.
Okay.
Okay. And then I would go from there.
I thought you were going to say pasta making.
Yes, I would like that too. But
bread making, actually, really.
I would like that too. But if I have to pick one thing, I'm going to go to the sing. There's a particularly...
You don't have to pick one activity. You can just pick the region. You have 4 weeks. You do many things.
Well, no, because then what I want to do, okay, is I want to rent a little cottage in Scotland. And I want to, where I'm going to go for walks and look upon Scotland, which is supposed to be beautiful. And while I'm there, I'm going to write music, because I write songs and music for the other 3 weeks.
So to sum this up,
yes,
you'd like to go on the Bono vacation.
What's the Bono vacation?
He's a singer. They wrote songs in Ireland, like looking over like
they did
swarmy cliffs.
I guess that's what I want to do. Although I said Scotland.
Yeah, I know you said Scotland, but I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So maybe I don't know anything about U2. To all the U2 fans, I'm sorry.
I want 1 week with people, having an intense experience with others, and then I want 3 weeks by myself. Okay. But I want it to all have to do with music.
Okay, good. That's beautiful. Wonderful.
All right. What about you?
I'd go to Vietnam.
Huh.
Yeah, I hear it's gorgeous and it's pretty cool. I might want to I'd stop in Japan, maybe like rural Japan, just to like eat a bunch of food for a week, and then I'd leave.
And then you'd go to Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam, but and I'd see the beach. I'd go out to like, maybe not the rural countryside, but like small cities of a couple thousand, and just
so now that we've stated that,
Singapore Singapore is really cool. And Sri Lanka is really cool.
So now that we've stated that, we'll put that request out to our podcast listeners that anyone in Vietnam that wants to have Guthrie come out and speak.
Oh yeah,
he's available for speaking engagements.
Really all of Southeast Asia.
Yeah, and anyone in Italy or Scotland that would like a speaker should ask for me. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So do you have any more questions? You said you had questions, or do you want me to?
Okay. Yeah, that was my first question about vacations.
Do you have another one?
Yeah. Do you think people should, as a matter of right, get a month off by law for vacation?
Oh, now you're getting into politics.
Yeah. And you don't have to elaborate. Just not that people should get a month of vacation because it's nice, and not that you would like a month of vacation because it's awesome. But if you were dictator of Susan Vania, the Susan Republic of Akia.
The Republic of Susan.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you there.
Susnia.
Susan, yeah.
No, Susnia.
Susnia.
Yeah.
There are other things I would do before that, but are you saying I don't have to...
Your royal council of ministers that you have to make
anything.
it look like it's a valid election brings you, even though you're absolute ruler and dictator, brings you a proposal from the plebeians requesting that you would act this legislation. That one for 3 weeks, every employee shall consecutively get off.
Okay, but does this mean that if I do this, then I can't have other things like, education for everyone?
No, I told you,
I can do anything I want.
You're
absolutely.
You're grand inquisitor.
The answer is yes.
Okay, so you do this. You think it's for the best of the country?
I think that people are healthier. And I think there's some evidence of this research-wise, but I believe that people their long-term health will be improved, their short-term health is improved, their mental health is improved, their productivity is improved, their family life is improved if they were to get 4 weeks off.
Okay.
I believe that. So I would say yes. If I Susanna, or whatever the country is.
That's an Italian passage you learned when you were in Italy. Susanna. No, I was thinking like Chechnya, but Susnia.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Susnia. Okay, that's what it is.
Susnia.
All right, do you have any more questions, or should I give my prescription?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'll let you.
Do you have more questions?
About vacation?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, but it's fine.
All right, here's my suggestion for people. It's August now, and maybe when you're listening to this, who knows when you're listening to this, but you should take some vacation. Those of you who are listening, if you've not taken vacation, you should take it. You should give yourself plenty of time to plan it, because that's the fun part. If you have just come back from vacation, that's fine. Start planning next year's vacation, because the planning is the fun part, and you'll get a whole year's worth. So plan your next vacation. The next prescription, Dr. Susan is going to write this prescription. The next thing you need to do is plan at least part of that vacation to be disconnected from phone and internet, even if you just did it for like a day.
Yeah, go on an adventure just for the day.
Just at least for the day.
Leave your phone in the car
and see, so that you can feel what that experience is like. Preferably 2 or 3 days.
But don't do that in Rio, in like the bad parts of the city, though.
No, be safe, but try it. Okay. The next thing I want to say is, remember, do an experience. That's better than just buying things, so that's why you're planning this vacation. And then I have one more piece of advice. Don't do what I do, which is, before I go on vacation, I feel like I have to get my entire life in order.
Yeah, I don't know why you do that.
I can't leave until everything is taken care of. Not just everything for while I'm gone, but like all of a sudden I'll be, like cleaning up files. And I mean, it's like, I don't have to do that before I go, but I feel like I have to.
Otherwise it'll nag at you.
Well, it won't. It doesn't. I do my filing once every 3 years. It doesn't usually nag at me, but I feel like.
Hey, I have a question. As of right now, how's your filing situation going?
I have maybe 3 pieces of paper that are unfiled.
Wow. Well then, so when you say you have to file everything, it takes like one second.
Yes, now it does. And by the way, if those of you who are listening, the reason he's asking that, and the reason I only have 3 things to file,
I implemented a system.
We implemented a system, and
a strategic filing system.
Almost a year now, and it's still working.
It was amazing. That might be my crowning achievement, actually.
Actually, it probably is, because you know what.
Yeah, before it was just a giant pile. And
there were multiple piles because they would overflow in whatever structure they were sitting in. Well, all right, cool. So that's my prescription. And Guthrie, I know you're shortly going on vacation, and I hope you will follow some of these suggestions.
I shall try and do that.
And enjoy your time.
We're definitely going to be having an experience. I cannot say where, nor can I say when, but there will be. We are getting, in theory, if all goes to plan, we are getting a tour of a governmental facility
that you should not be in. No. But you're getting a tour
we're being allowed
that not everyone gets.
That most people
don't get.
Who are not in certain positions do not get to see. So right. I'm excited for that.
All right.
The other thing I'd like to just say.
Yeah.
Since of course I would be the best ruler of anyone.
Like
I would be an amazing ruler. Okay.
Guthrie Nanya.
Yeah. I would. Here's my economic policy. Really, someone should just have me draft economic policy for the United States. Come on, people, just call me. So every employer must offer by law if you're a salaried employee, or even if you're not, you have to offer 5 weeks of vacation. Now you can, the employer and the employee they don't have to sign to that. So if you want to make more money and only get 2 weeks, that's an option for you, right? It's not mandatory. But what is mandatory is that your employer offer you a salary package that includes 5 weeks of vacation, and then you can take more or less as.
Well,
I
hope I don't run against you because I think you just won the election.
I mean, it's so smart, right? So that everyone can get 5 weeks, but then if you actually want to work and you want more money, that's also right. It's not government interference.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna make them take it.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid people won't take it.
Yeah.
Then they won't have the benefits.
Let's just say you bleed red.
Okay.
It's a communist joke.
Yeah, I get it. All right, everyone, have a great vacation. If they want to get in touch with us,
listen to this podcast on vacation.
They could do that.
Or before, so you can.
That would be all right with me.
So you can then learn.
Yeah.
What you've messed up.
So if they want to get in touch with us, you want to remind them how to do that?
Just email info@theteamw.com, or tweet at Susan, whatever your Twitter handle is.
At the Brain Lady.
Also on Facebook, we get those. We have the Facebooks.
The Team W Facebook
so you can just send us messages that way. Thanks for listening, guys. We really do appreciate you listening, and I mean we do this for you. And I know lots of podcasts say that. We don't have ads, so we're not making any money. So literally the only reason we're doing this is for our audience. Now, hopefully one of these days we get ads so we can pay
would take
for the
an ad. If someone wants to give us an ad, we'd take it.
Well, yeah, I mean the bandwidth.
But right now,
the bandwidth is not free, and it's considerable. But so as it stands right now, the only reason we've done 18 podcasts is just for the enjoyment of you, fellow listeners. So, I don't know. Hopefully, we're not wasting our time. I have fun doing it. I suppose I also do it just to chit-chat.
I was going to say that's not the only reason we do.
I like to
we enjoy doing it.
I love to soapbox. All right. Thank you, Susan. I will talk to you soon. Just for people who don't know, again, I will be on vacation, so we're gonna record.
We're gonna record another one.
Yeah, we're gonna record an episode or two just to kind of have one in the bag. So when I'm out and about and maybe not in front of the good recording equipment,
podcast.
Yeah, we can keep those coming out. So I don't know when this one will air, and I don't know when the next couple will air. But other than that, have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.